As officials in Japan still battle around the clock to regain full control of the damaged nuclear plant in Fukushima, traces of radiation have been detected for the first time across Britain. Air samples taken in Glasgow and Oxfordshire have revealed very low levels of radioactive iodine, indicating that the fallout from the nuclear disaster has spread more than 5,000 miles. However, health experts say there is no risk to the public, as our SADS correspondent Tom Clarke now reports.
It's still not clear what's going on within the mangled remains of Fukushima. Steam continues to carry some radioactivity away from the plant. A haze of fumes remains above this storage pond, obscuring as it has for days the extent of damage to hundreds of tons of highly radioactive fuel beneath. So little is certain, even Japan's embattled Prime Minister couldn't put a positive gloss on it at his first parliamentary question since the disaster.
This is a situation in which we cannot have any optimism. We continue to deal with the situation with the utmost alertness.
But he can take some comfort in the fact the crisis hasn't got much worse in recent days. The US Department of Energy today announcing the plant appeared to be in slow recovery. There are new details about the extent of contamination at the plant, particularly highly radioactive water beneath the reactors. But experts think that reflects the situation is starting to come under control.
Now, as they go into the plant, as they understand the situation and characterise it, that's all providing new information to us on what has actually happened.
And in the time it's taken them to do that, radiation from Fukushima has travelled to Europe, traces being confirmed for the first time today in Britain. A sensor in Glasgow was the first to detect radioactive iodine from the plant. Yesterday, one in Oxfordshire picked it up too. The highest level found was 300 microbecquerels in a cubic metre of air. It's a truly minuscule amount. To put it in context, there are 20 million microbecquerels per cubic metre in the average British home, due to radon gas produced naturally by rocks. The health risk for Europeans is non-existent, but Japanese health officials are struggling to balance the very real risks for people living around the Fukushima plant with the harm that evacuation and relocation also brings.
My biggest concern is whether I'll be able to go back home or not, and if I go back home, whether I'll be able to return to my life. I'm also worried about the stresses my family and evacuees close to me are going through.
Given the levels of radiation, this kind of anxiety could be more harmful than the fallout.
From the radioactivity that's on the ground, there's time to take a fairly measured view about what the right thing to do is. You know, remembering that relocating people and causing them a load of stress can be just as harmful to their health as the radiation is.
Here in Yamamoto, 1,000 people are thought to have died. Japan is being forced by sheer numbers to break with the tradition of cremation and bury its tsunami dead in mass graves. 18,000 may have died, yet confirmed fatalities due to radiation from Fukushima are zero. Even though it still dominates the headlines in Japan and abroad, the nuclear crisis here bears no relation to the enormity of the humanitarian one.